this line, I'll go over on this side. Think of this group of muscles that through certain fascial connections goes all the way down from your tongue, which you can't see on Elwood, to there. Wow, wow, wow. And it's this way on two sides. Isn't that right? Can you see that that would be this way on two sides?
Wait, so that's a muscle or fascia that does this?
So this is, all right, thank you. That's a great question. This is muscle or fascia. These are a series or a sequence of muscles, but muscles are wrapped individually in little, we'll say cellophane. Let's really not, right? Neurological cellophane called fascia. And fascial tissue now, we do know, has a contractile property. Doesn't mean that it moves the muscle itself, but there is some contractile quality to it. But what you want to think of it is that it's like a silk stocking, perhaps, or Spanx. If you know what Spanx are, you wear Spanx. Joe and Brant, I know. Yeah. Well, actually, or an athletic supporter. It kind of helps smooth certain things out. It kind of contours and smooths certain things out. So Spanx would be sort of this webbing that holds things together to make everything else flow well. So the fascial tissue would be kind of like a webbing, like a sweater. And if it gets dehydrated or aged or lack of hormones in the body, like estrogen has relationships to the collagen in our body, to the cross-bridging in the collagen fibers. So when you get old, you see how stiff and dry people are, right? And then that's a product of not only just dehydration, but also hormonal factors. So this fascial tissue can be like a sweater that gets snagged or gets contracted or balled up. And so what if on one side of this, the contractile properties happen here, get snagged up, it's going to pull the spine off in one way, right? But can you see, based on what you worked on today, that you really were working that log line today in the Shalabhasana and Warrior? Oh yeah, well you see Warrior 2 that you worked today, right? So if you look at that pose, the Warrior 2, and you see that this fascial tissue runs, from the ankle calf up around there like that. I'm kind of going, actually that's really not there, but it's behind. Like this. Like that, wouldn't it? Got to pull it up there. Like that. And then up my front side. Okay? How about that? And I should go this way too, but okay? But wow, can you see how, now that makes sense to you if you see that picture, that this tissue is going to, if it's tight on one side or the other, it's going to be bound up. And not only that is the leg not going to work, but can you see that if you get the leg position, that it indeed could pull on the pelvis, the psoas. Did you see that can you see that from the book? So I want to empower you to look at the book itself over your own time and look and read the muscle groups, so that when you go to teach a posture or you practice a pose, you go, okay, wow, why does my knee fall in like that? Then go look at the core suture and see, well, the core suture is here, but on the back side is the long back line, or the, what do you call it, the postural sutra on the back. He calls it the postural sutra. It's the long back line. I look at the Meyer stuff, but then you can start to make relationships with them.
But it almost looks like if you had them turn their head where their chest is facing, it almost would let their knee go out.
Now, see, there she goes again, thinking the way you're supposed to think. Do you say that again?
Well, by this picture, it almost looks like if you let a beginner turn their head facing where their chest is instead of that way, then it would let their knee open further out.
Do you understand why she's saying that? If these tissues come all the way up to here, and you start putting a pull on these tissues here, she's saying if you just give off some slack in one piece of the line here, it may actually help them there. That is correct. And not just in that line,